Have you ever had someone that just overstayed their welcome, or maybe you were that person and you just knew it was time to go your separate ways? We're going to talk about that today from Genesis chapter 31. Hey guys, and welcome back to God's Word Made Simple by Simple Servant Ministries. My name is Aaron Hawk, and if this is your first time visiting with us, I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us today. God's Word Made Simple is an online discipleship ministry dedicated to taking God's Word and making it simple. We want to help you understand God's Word, apply it to your life, and grow in your relationship with the Lord. And by the way, if you appreciate this ministry and content, at some point make sure and hit that subscribe button, turn that bell notification to all so you don't miss any future videos. We would love to have you as part of our family. Okay guys, so we're going to get into Genesis chapter 31 starting in verse 1 today and go through 16. If you haven't caught it, the beginning of this story really starts in Genesis 29 verse 1, so I would recommend going and watching that video and getting caught up through the last two chapters, but you can start here if you want to. You'll just understand it a lot better if you go to the previous two chapters. Okay, so let's get started in chapter 31, verse 1. Now Jacob heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father, he has made all this wealth. So there's this jealousy. If you've ever been around people that have generational wealth and family money, this is a fairly common thing that you will hear among the kids and relatives. And it's not untrue. Although his father didn't have much, remember earlier it was established that God blessed Laban because of Jacob. So he didn't have much to begin with, but Jacob has started swindling him out of everything, as Jacob tends to do. So it's not entirely unfounded. Not that two wrongs make a right, but Laban kind of started this war too. So anyway, two wrongs don't make a right. Don't misunderstand me, but it's two swindlers having a battle. All right. Verse 2, Jacob saw the attitude of Laban, and behold, it was not friendly toward him as formerly. Go figure. When you purposely produce animals that are strong for yourself and weak for the other guy, it's not going to be the best for a relationship there. All right, verse 3. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So, okay, God's saying, all right, buddy, it's time for you to get out of here. He saw the handwriting on the wall, so to speak, and God is explicitly telling him it's time to go. So, verse 4. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field. So they're at the house, he's in the field. He actually calls them to the field, like he's getting ready to giddy up out of here. All right, so Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field and said to them, I see your father's attitude, that it is not friendly toward me as formerly, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yeah. Yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times. And that's valid, right? Or at least we believe so, right? He has changed his wages, and this has been a back and forth thing, and not to mention the original treachery. So we'll give him a little grain there, right? However, God did not allow him to hurt me. If he spoke thus, the speckled, so now he's explaining, sorry, I should have said that a second ago. Now he's going to explain what he means. If he spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth speckled. And if he spoke thus, the striped shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth striped. Thus God has taken away your father's livestock and given them to me. So Jacob's spinning a yarn here. He's trying to pull, the pun not intended, the wool over his wife's eyes as well, because he was deliberately doing it with those rods that we talked about last time. So he's trying to play all innocent, like, oh gee, I don't know what happened. It just turned out this way, right? I don't imagine the women, I think they probably knew him well enough. They probably knew what was really going on, but whatever, he's trying to play the victim here, and he has legitimately been wronged a number of times, but he's also just as guilty. So anyway, we'll move on, right? Just because the Bible describes it doesn't mean the Bible prescribes it. All right. Verse 9 again. Thus God has taken away your father's livestock and given them to me. So God did it, not me. And again, there is truth to that. God was working with him for his own purposes. So, verse 10, and it came about at the time when the flock were mating that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the male goats which were mating were striped, speckled, and mottled. Then the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob, and I said, Here am I. He said, Lift up now your eyes and see that all the male goats which are mating are striped, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. And again, there is an element of truth to this. Don't get me wrong, but Jacob is spinning his own version of it. Verse 13, I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now remember, previously when God introduced himself, he introduced himself as the God of his fathers. Now he's saying, I am that God. Remember that experience? I'm the same God. So it goes from being an impersonal, like generational relationship to now we're getting more personal. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now arise, leave this land and return to the land of your birth. So God is now directly telling him it is time to giddy up. All right. Verse 14, Rachel and Leah said to him, and he was probably like padding it, like if you understand the psychology that he's using here, right? He's trying to hedge his bets. I say padding, but he's trying to hedge his bets, right? Play the victim, oh, your father's done me wrong, and he's mad at me now, so we probably need to go. He was probably expecting resistance on the part of the women, so he was trying to spin this yarn in such a way that it fit. They're not having it. Rachel and Leah said to him, do we still have any portion or inheritance in our father's house? It's like, dude, he sold us. We're not even in his house anymore. What are you talking about? Are we not reckoned by him as foreigners? For he has sold us, literally. He has sold us and has also entirely consumed our purchase price. So the work that Jacob did to buy them or earn them, however you choose to word that, like I've talked about in the previous videos, don't read our culture back into theirs. Whether you agree with it or not, this was normal during this time period, so be careful there. But obviously he's already squandered everything, so verse 16, surely all the wealth which God has taken away from our father belongs to us and our children. Now then, do whatever God has said to you. In other words, buddy, this is Aaron paraphrase, buddy, you ain't got to do all this spinning the story. We're with you. Daddy ain't got anything. He didn't want us anyway. You've got the wealth. We're here. Let's go. Aaron paraphrase, but I think that's really the heart attitude behind it, which is why I chose to paraphrase it that way. So anyway, we're going to pick back up because Laban is going to try again, and we'll see Jacob and Laban still sparring a bit here. So we're going to pick back up in verse 17 next time. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure that you hit like, subscribe, turn that bell notification to all so you don't miss that or any other future videos. If you do want to support this ministry, the two best ways to do that, one is to hit share and share this video and other videos on your social media platforms. The other is if you do desire to support us financially, there is a link down in the description and we would greatly appreciate your support. All right, guys, thank you very much and God bless.